Because that's the thing is when you're really tall, there's the sodomites in Hollywood just get real like sheepish, where they're like, they just show you the end. It's just they're always like, protect me, dominate me, real weird. Because I believe homosexuality stems from childhood abuse, so they stunt the victim from childhood abuse, and that's why they act silly, like silly goose. You ever wonder why gays talk a certain way where they're like, oh my God, they're acting like children. They're emotionally stunted as children. Like some of my kids, like the innocence of childhood is like silly, and they kind of have higher voices and they're very like, silly. And so when people abuse children, they stunt them. And so then they want someone to protect them. And that's why sodomites are attracted to very strong, big, rich, muscular men that can protect them. They don't like other fruitcakes. Like a fruitcake meeting another fruitcake is like, oh my God, I hate your shoes. They hate it. They want a firefighter with abs to be the dad that couldn't protect them from whoever raped them. It's fucked up, but that's reality. So as a 6'8" man that's very strong, I've always the sodomites around me are always showing me the answers to the test. Big laughs out of Brown Bear Kung Fu. Yeah, it's true. That's why they're all like silly, because they're acting like fucking children. And that's why a lot of them have big pedophile crossover. And there's no connection between being gay and pedophile. Yeah, there is, because their brains were wired sexually very, very young. It's not all, but there's a lot that then relate to other children. It's fucked up. So fucked up, but quite true. Yeah. Very few gays are like, you want to know who I want to date? Another fruitcake that's obsessed with shoes and being fancy. Like those are usually just best friend gays that just become like fucking roommates. And they're just like bitchy and catty. They don't even have a sexual relationship. They're like, oh my God, Gary's picking me up right now, but it's in the new fucking bit. They don't have a sexual dynamic. It's a lot like lesbians. It's about protection from the monsters. That's why like gay status symbol, like the gay icons are always like Rock Hudson, firefighters, cops, military, like ripped military guys. Why? Because they want to feel protected because their dad failed. Yeah, they want straight boys, right? Because it's not because they necessarily want to corrupt. Some do. It's because they want to be protected. Okay, anyway. Same with the lesbian lipstick and Butch. Yeah, exactly. Most of them just become roommates and Sarah McLachlan fans. They can split their tickets. They can both drive the Subaru when they need organic food. They never have sex. Like most lesbian relationships are completely sexless. Oh, how dare you offend the lesbians? If there's any lesbians in the chat, they'll tell you. It becomes extremely sexless. They're almost like a huddled mass of just complaint, just trying to protect themselves from whoever hurt them as a kid. A lot of it was abandoned fathers. A lot of women that are either quote unquote bisexual or lesbian is because their fathers abandoned them and they seek protection from each other. It's not sexual. The sexuality comes from wanting attention and the person to not leave. You know what I'm saying? It's true. My close friend is a married lesbo, no sex. Right. Because they'll use any strategy they can to entice the person to not leave. Dude, I had lesbian roommates for 3 years and they never had sex. No, they don't have sex. Like the threesome world and all that. Like bisexual women will use men. They'll do whatever they have to get attention, protection, and resources. That's why it's not real sex. That's why when I'm like, what did Andrew Bear says? Andrew Bear, yep, lesbian couple I know come from divorce. Yeah, it's about protection. It's almost like, you guys get it. It's why there's so many women in the Israeli Mossad and all that, and why they treat their women the way they do and why women act the way they do, is because their men are typically cowards. No offense, Israelis. I know some of you are good guys. I know there's a lot of Israelis that watch this because they like strong, masculine energy, because your dad always worked as a goddamn patent clerk or a fucking lawyer, and the money didn't replace the strength. So anyway, that's why the Grabbler a lot of times we'll try to put women as Navy SEALs and women in Mossad and women as CEOs and all this. And the women do it because they felt zero protection from men their entire lives. Their dad were dirty grabblers that only focused on money and victim consciousness and all that. And then their husbands are the same thing. And you just described my cousin Kathy. Yeah, like, I have sympathy for the women in those positions because it's the man's fault. Oh, how dare you not give free will to the woman? Women have less free will than men. If a woman doesn't feel protected, they will get more masculine. They will be pro-abortion because they won't want to carry a baby when they don't feel financial security and emotional and spiritual leadership from a man. And then they become these Baphomet-like man women, and they're like, I'll fuck anybody. I'm just like a guy. It's like, I know you're in pain. Like, you have no men in your life. That's why they're pro-choice. Because if they're in one of their fuck frenzies because they're trying to prove to themselves they're a man and the progesterone is jacked, the progesterone mimics testosterone. So they're like, I'll fuck a dick. I don't need Okay, we know that you're projecting because of trauma. Because a woman can go back. A woman can be a woman after experiencing that. Women can go through that phase and become totally feminine again, totally motherly, totally. It's fluid. That part of a woman is very, very fluid. Like, if a man led them and provided for them and told them to stop, like, controlled them in a way. Oh, how dare you, controlling. Yeah. You're so overprotective. No, it's just called protective. And women love it. They'll give you children. They'll do anything that they think will make you happy if you fucking protect them. To like, when my wife goes places with the kids stuff, I'm like, yeah, check in when you get there. Let me know where it is. Oh, you're so controlling. No, it's called protection. And they love you for it. They don't rebel. They rebel if you're weak and you're like, who the fuck are you with? Who the fuck? Yeah. Then they'll rebel because you're weak. You're displaying beta, gamma fucking tendencies. But if you want to know where they are because you want to know, because you're protecting them, because you want to know where to go if something happens, you want to know they got there, you want to know if you need to go check things out, they're like, yes, thank you. BB, you could have been a master counselor. I have more clients right now than I could have as a counselor, and it's free.